The film opens with Catherine Dean, a psychotherapist who is walking through a vast desert. She approaches a 12-year-old boy and tries to talk to him, but he refuses and runs away. Realizing she must leave and try again later, Catherine presses a button on her hand and wakes up in the real world. It is revealed that she was inside the mind of Edward, the comatose son of a billionaire. Using an advanced technology called the neurological cartography transfer system, Catherine enters patients' subconscious minds to discover the root causes of their conditions. After waking up and seeing that Edward remains unresponsive, she becomes discouraged, feeling that her efforts have achieved nothing. Later, Catherine comes up with a new idea. Since she has spent 7 months entering Edward's mind without success, she suggests allowing Edward to enter her mind instead. However, the doctors strongly oppose the idea, warning that her mind would be an unfamiliar environment. Edward could become trapped there permanently and remain in a coma forever. Meanwhile, a psychopathic serial killer named Carl Starger arrives at a secluded location where he has imprisoned a woman inside a glass cell that gradually fills with water. He watches as she drowns and dies, considering the process his artistic creation. Afterward, he removes and cleans her body, records the drowning, and performs disturbing rituals around the corpse while enduring intense physical pain. Later, he disposes of the body, which is eventually discovered by the FBI. The FBI suspects a serial killer is operating in the area because several women have gone missing under similar circumstances. Detectives Peter Novak, Gordon, and Cole are assigned to the case. During their investigation, they discover rare albino dog hair near the crime scene. Following this clue, they trace the dog and eventually identify Carl Starger as a suspect. At the same time, a woman named Julia accidentally hits an albino dog with her car. While checking on the injured animal, she is kidnapped by Carl. Shortly afterward, Carl suffers severe seizures in his home. While reaching for his medication, he collapses and loses consciousness, revealing that he suffers from a serious neurological condition. Julia later awakens trapped inside a mysterious cell equipped with surveillance cameras. The investigation finally leads detectives to Carl's home. They raid the property intending to arrest him, but discover him unconscious on the floor. Although Carl is captured, Julia cannot be found. The detectives have no knowledge of the hidden cell where she is being held. Carl is taken to a hospital, where doctors discover he suffers from an extremely rare neurological disorder. He has fallen into a coma and believes himself to be dead. With their primary suspect unconscious and Julia's life hanging in the balance, the detectives learn about the experimental brain-linking technology used to communicate with coma patients. Hoping to locate Julia before it is too late, they take Carl to the facility and seek Catherine's help. However, Catherine initially refuses, unwilling to enter the mind of a dangerous serial killer. But the detectives explain that Julia, Carl's latest victim, is still missing and may die if they cannot discover her location. Realizing that an innocent life is at stake, Catherine agrees to help. She believes that if entering the mind of a serial killer can save someone, then it is worth the risk. Using the neurological cartography transfer system, Catherine connects with Carl's subconscious. Inside, she finds herself in a terrifying and surreal world resembling a dark, abandoned nightmare. The environment reflects Carl's twisted psyche, filled with loneliness, fear, and disturbing imagery. As she explores, Catherine encounters visions of Carl's previous victims, all women who appear trapped and tortured within his subconscious. She soon discovers a young boy who represents Carl as a child. Through his memories, Catherine learns about Carl's traumatic upbringing. His father was an abusive and sadistic man who frequently tortured both Carl and his mother. Catherine realizes that many of Carl's violent tendencies originated from the horrific environment in which he was raised. Carl's father viewed women as objects meant for pleasure and suffering, a belief that became ingrained in Carl's mind. Catherine also witnesses a childhood memory involving a baptism ceremony where Carl and others were submerged in water. They believed drowning was a path to purity, helping explain Carl's obsession with killing women by drowning them. These memories reveal the extent of Carl's suffering and emotional damage. While exploring further, Catherine encounters the adult Carl sitting near a bathtub containing a dead woman. He speaks about his traumatic childhood, and Catherine attempts to convince him that repeating his father's cruelty will not heal his pain. When she asks about Julia's whereabouts, Carl disappears into the darkness. Moments later, a far more terrifying version of Carl appears. This monstrous figure represents the darkest part of his subconscious, the source of his murderous urges and violent desires. The creature attacks Catherine and subjects her to psychological torment so intense that she begins losing her grip on reality. Outside the simulation, the scientists realize that Carl's mind is overpowering Catherine's consciousness. If the process continues, she could become trapped and fall into a permanent coma. To save her, Detective Peter Novak volunteers to enter Carl's mind himself. At the same time, Julia remains trapped in the water-filled cell as more water slowly rises around her. Despite her desperate attempts to escape, she finds no way out. Peter enters Carl's subconscious and discovers a bizarre, hellish landscape. After searching, he finds Catherine, who appears lost within the illusion. When he tries to convince her that none of it is real, she begins seducing him as part of a trap. Suddenly, another version of Carl known as King Starger appears, captures Peter, and subjects him to horrifying torture. Remembering advice from the doctors, Peter begins reminding Catherine of important events from her real life, including the tragic death of her brother. The memories awaken her sense of identity and break the illusion's hold over her. Catherine finally remembers who she is and realizes that everything around her is merely a manifestation of Carl Starger's disturbed mind. Catherine finally regains control of her mind and attacks the monstrous version of Carl from behind. She stabs him through the back, causing him immense pain. Using her restored control over the dream world, she transports herself and Peter to a safer location within Carl's subconscious. There, they discover several large water-filled cells containing the bodies of Carl's previous victims. They also encounter the innocent child version of Carl once again. While examining the area, Peter notices that the cells bear the same logo he had seen on Carl's hoist machine. Realizing this could lead them to Julia's location, he memorizes the symbol and prepares to leave. Catherine continues comforting the child Carl, assuring him that everything will be all right. However, Peter knows they now have a crucial lead and forcefully pulls Catherine out of the connection. As they leave, the evil version of Carl returns and drags the child away. Back in the real world, Peter immediately contacts Detective Cole and instructs him to investigate the hoist machine found in Carl's basement. He wants every possible detail about the company that manufactured it. Meanwhile, Catherine isolates herself in the laboratory and activates the reverse mind link, allowing Carl's consciousness to enter her mind instead. Unlike Carl's dark and horrifying subconscious, Catherine's mind appears peaceful and heavenly. It is filled with beauty, warmth, and tranquility. The innocent child version of Carl arrives there seeking comfort, but the evil side of Carl follows as well because it remains an inseparable part of his identity. At the same time, Peter's investigation begins producing results. The manufacturing company reveals that the hoist machines were custom-made and ordered through another company that later went bankrupt. Before its closure, Carl had been assigned to oversee the government seizure of the property. Realizing the significance of this connection, Peter obtains the location and travels there by helicopter. The location turns out to be the same abandoned facility Carl had visited earlier. Peter searches the building but initially finds nothing. As he prepares to leave, he hears an unusual sound coming from nearby water pumps. Following the noise, he uncovers a hidden basement and finally discovers the glass cell where Julia is imprisoned. Inside, Julia is barely alive. She has managed to survive by breathing through a small pipe connected to the outside, which was the source of the sound Peter heard. Acting quickly, Peter shatters the glass and rescues her before the cell can completely fill with water. Meanwhile, within Catherine's mind, she decides that the only way to save the innocent part of Carl is to destroy the evil side forever. Because they are inside her subconscious, she has the advantage. After a fierce confrontation, she overpowers the dark version of Carl and kills him by driving a sword into his chest. However, she soon realizes that the innocent child Carl is also dying. Heartbroken, Catherine carries him to a pool of holy water. Knowing that Carl believed baptism was the path to purity and peace, she gently places him into the water. The child dies peacefully, finally free from the suffering that had haunted him throughout his life. When Catherine awakens, she feels comforted knowing that Carl's tortured mind has finally found peace. Later, Peter and his team continue searching Carl's house and discover a disturbing picture depicting a man pulling another man's intestines from his body. Peter realizes this was the exact torture Carl inflicted on him inside the subconscious world, proving how closely Carl's fantasies mirrored reality. The success of the reverse mind link convinces the scientists that Catherine's idea was correct all along. They decide to develop the procedure as a legitimate treatment and plan to use it on Edward, the billionaire's comatose son. In the final scene, Catherine meets Peter outside the facility and tells him about the breakthrough. After a warm conversation and a gentle hug, Peter leaves. Edward is then brought into Catherine's mind. Although her subconscious resembles the same desert Edward once wandered alone, it has been transformed into a welcoming and comforting place. This time, instead of running away, Edward approaches Catherine willingly and walks beside her. The film ends on a hopeful note, suggesting that Edward may finally recover and that Catherine will continue using her gift to help others heal.